Well, I know, but Jay, don't put the storm doors on yet. We've got summer in the middle of fall. Holy cow. Yeah, air the place out for sure. Yeah. Oh, gotta go. Hey, welcome to season 5, episode 23 of Niagara 411 Live with Sterry on this October 30th. Does this look and feel like an October 30th to you? Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. I think we've got to be 22. Why did I look at my watch to see the degrees? I don't have a smartwatch. I don't know. 22 degrees? 20? Something like that? Wow. Anyway, we are here outside, and they have the door open again on this beautiful day at Fiddler's Poorhouse, 149 St. Paul Street in downtown St. Catharines. Those are your specials for today at Fiddler's. If you want to come on in, have a little bit of nosh, have a little beverage, join us, come in, wave, and say hi. We'd be happy to have you. We are fueled by Gale's Gas Bars, supported by Sandra's Home Healthcare, Verge Insurance, Ace Alignment, as of course, Equal Wellness Services here in St. Catharines, powered by WeeStreem, Canada's premier streaming service. And unfortunately, we have to go inside. I'd love to be able to take the class outside today like we used to do in elementary school on a nice day when the teacher would say, "All right, kids, we're going outside. Grab the soccer balls." Man, what a beautiful day. This is awesome. Anyway, we have a couple of disappearances to talk about today. One solved, one not solved. We'll talk about those. We also have something of an informative piece for you today. I don't know whether you are a home owner, or a condo owner, or a renter, but there are sometimes anomalies that show up in the world of tenants and landlords. And we're going to be exploring that a little bit in detail because of a recent event and happening here in St. Catharines. It was posted on Facebook on Niagara 411, and we're going to explore that a little bit deeper and a bunch of other things today. So I hope you can stick around with us. I hope you can enjoy the day, but spend some of it with us here, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. Cheers. As promised 30 seconds ago, here we are 30 seconds later. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to Season 5. Season 5 already. Episode 23 of Niagara 411 Live with Sterry. Now here's something we would like to start with, and maybe you can give us a hand with this, okay? If you are viewing this, and I'm sure you are, if you're viewing it, you are, on Niagara 411 on Facebook. So what we want you to do is, if you're viewing that, refresh the site, and then you will see the fact that there we are. We're actually streaming this here program. Then if you go to the bottom right-hand corner of your screen and you click on share, okay, and then you can do share now, and you click that, boom, and now I have immediately shared that on my personal Facebook page. And what that does is it helps us, but that's not really why we're doing it. What it does is ensure the fact that all of the people you're connected with on your Facebook page around Niagara are simpatico with what you're doing. We can all have the same shared, hence the word share, experience. And that's what it's for, because the program was designed by the gentleman you see on the right-hand side of your screen, Kevin Jack, to be by Niagarans, for Niagarans, about Niagarans. That's what we are, and that's why we're here. So if you can do that, we would really appreciate that, and so will your friends and neighbors, because they'll all be able to share with you comments and or questions about the program. And that's the next part of this opening. Some people have a difficult time with this show trying to wrap their head around the fact that it is in real time and it is interactive immediately if necessary. The name of the program is not an accident. It's Niagara 411 Live. Live meaning in the moment, with Lee Sterry meaning me. And you are totally welcome to voice your opinion on anything we're talking about, be it me, be it the show, be it a past show, be it a story, be it anything. We are totally transparent. And for the troglodytes that don't believe we are, revisit the word interactive, live, and available. Just Google those 3 words and learn their meanings, and then you'll be able to understand it if you want to interact with the program. Because you're free. If you want to call and tell me I'm full of crap, please feel free. My shoulders are broad. I can take it. They can slip off me like a duck. I don't care. You want to tell me I'm full of crap? Call and tell me I'm full of crap. Please do. Because then we can have a conversation. If you want to do it behind my back, screw you. Now, moving right along, Kevin Jack, by the way, who is on the screen, is the co-founder of WeeStreem, Canada's premier streaming company, and the founder of this program. And we have some pretty interesting folks coming up here today, but we wanted to talk about a fellow, this was just before we went on the air. It came on Niagara 411 that a missing 76-year-old man has been located. Irvin has been located, is safe. The NRPS would like to thank the media and the public for putting out the word and finding Irvin in good company and just fine. A gentleman out of Fort Erie, I do believe. And so that's good to hear. Now, there is also a story that has not yet come to fruition in the disappearance of a gentleman that has an interesting name, frankly. His first name is Alpachino. Now, I know there are a lot of comments about whether his parents were movie fans before they gave him his first name. But Alpachino Mignot is a Jamaican gentleman, 26 years old. He's in Canada, ostensibly, to participate in a soccer tournament.
It's rugby, Lee.
Rugby. In Brampton. But there were sightings, people thought, of him having been in Niagara-on-the-Lake. Hence, we're bringing this up because I think the last sighting, as it says there on the screen, was October 19th.
Yeah, so that's 2 Saturdays ago.
Yeah, and this has just been posted now, so I guess finally law enforcement or the police or whatever said, okay, this guy's been unaccounted for long enough. We're going to make this official. So Alpachino Mignot is officially now a missing person. His mom is going to be joining us, as a matter of fact, today on the program at about 1 o'clock from Jamaica. And hopefully we can, all the technical connections will work properly. It should. But his mom is Meshanda Nesbeth from Jamaica. And Meshanda has said she's going to do her level best to be here around 1 o'clock to talk about her son, talk about why he's here and what's going on. It's just kind of a unexplained sort of thing. But she'll be coming in around 1 o'clock. As I mentioned off the top of the program, there are some difficult situations occasionally arise between landlords and tenants. This world of renting homes and apartments and condos, etc., can get rather complex at times. It's hard to follow the bouncing ball when it comes to rules and regulations and expectations and all that stuff. So something was posted a few days ago by this gentleman you see on the screen, Brad Durant. This is what's happening to us right now, and he put some photos up of some documents on the screen. And Kevin reached out to chat with Brad said, would you like to come on so that we can explain what's happening in the world of rental properties these days? And that's exactly what we're going to do in a few minutes. About quarter after 12 or 12:20 or so, Brad is going to be joining us, and we're going to talk about what is happening to him and his co-residents, if you will, in his building, and probably a lot of other buildings and rental properties around Niagara. So this is an information piece that you probably won't want to miss, because it's kind of interesting, and there are a few twists and turns and nuances to this story that you may be interested in. We hope you are. David Leighton and Mary Leighton are going to be joining us. There was sort of a feel bad, feel good story pop up over the last week on Niagara 411, and it was this lady that had her only means of transportation stolen. And there was a little bit of outrage, as you can imagine, and sadness and well wishes, etc. And she got her bike back, which is kind of cool. So and thanks to a lot of you through Niagara 411, and want to say hi to Nick at Niagara 411. Nick's mom, thanks for always tuning in, because we know you're there. So David and Mary Leighton are going to be joining us at about 1:45 today. And there's a Welland food drive coming up very, very shortly at Club Richelieu in Welland, and we're going to be talking to Monique Finley about that when she comes in about 10 after 1 or so today. So we're looking forward to that. Halloween comes up tomorrow, and this is probably the best weathered day before Halloween that I have ever seen. Now tomorrow, it's still supposed to be warmish, but we might have some showers, etc. Kevin, I don't know about you, but I remember most of my Halloweens when I was a kid, the weather was horrible. It was cold. It was windy. It was sometimes rainy. Leaves are blowing around, and it's dark outside. Because when I was a kid, I don't even think they'd invented street lamps yet. I'm that old, but. At least where I was, there were no street lamps. We were in the country, and we walked country streets in the dark, and all you could hear is footsteps coming, crunch, crunch, crunch. And you wondered, who am I going to meet on the road? Are they going to kick my bag of candy and take it away from me? Are they going to be friendly to me? I don't know. It was a spooky time when I was a kid. Things are a little less spooky now, and I suppose that's a good thing. But Halloween is tomorrow, and we'll keep you posted. Kevin was talking about his kiddies and what they're going to be for Halloween. You guys get pretty creative, don't you, Kevin?
Yeah, we got some good costumes for tomorrow. Maybe I'll share them on the next show. But Ayla is going as a box of Kleenex, but she's also wearing a crown, so she's going to be Queenex.
Queenex.
So pretty funny there. And Alex is going as a laundry basket.
All right, now.
So those are pretty creative.
No, I have to.
And we had a lot of fun as a family, kind of coming together and making those.
So you guys come up with these ideas on your own? Is it your wife, or like who's the creative force behind the idea?
I would say the children and my wife more so than anyone.
Okay, all right. That tends to be the trend in most families. I was never good creating costumes. I was always good at having people create costumes for me, but I could never.
And you can see there, Lee, I just threw up right there. You can see it. There's the forecast, and those are your main trick-or-treating hours tomorrow night.
6 to 9 would be the prime, I guess, eh?
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be warm, but it looks like rain is coming, and hopefully that can just hold off. Or I mean, not significant rainfall amounts, right? Each of those hours are talking about less than a millimeter.
Yeah.
So they're not really even sure themselves.
And it's a little bit unfortunate that daylight saving time hasn't switched to standard time yet, because you'd be able to trick or treat earlier. I mean, you can trick or treat whatever time you want, I guess, but you tend to think about that being an after dark or after sunset sort of activity. And if we're on standard time now, you'd be able to go out a little bit earlier. But that happens this Saturday, by the way. Don't forget to turn your clocks back. Spring forward, fall back, remember? So Saturday night, Sunday morning is when you do that. It was announced that, Kev.
Yeah, what's up?
Before we forget about this, what a weird thing happened. And it kind of coincided with the power outage that we experienced in North St. Catharines, because our house went poof, and the weather wasn't bad or anything like that. I don't think the two things are connected at all, but some people did connect them. There was an explosion in Grimsby.
Yeah, this was weird.
In a dumpster beside a school in Grimsby. One person was hurt. We understand that she's going to be fine, which is good. But how does that, what explodes in a dumpster? The medical services and the fire service personnel went to Central French Immersion School on Bolton Avenue. An adult female staff member was treated by the folks there, and she's going to be fine. But the explosion seemed to be confined to that dumpster area. Now, could this be some sort of accidental, like, chemical combustion combination? It seems odd. But then who would, on purpose, place some combustible device or thing or concoction in a dumpster by a school when nobody was, like, it just seems weird. It seems like some confluence of nature and things came together, but so far we do not know.
It's really bizarre, and I think about, like, Madame Beatrice at my children's school. And
Yeah, because your kids are French immersion, right?
They're French Catholic.
French Catholic.
And what it would be like for her, she's just taking out the garbage and throwing it in the big dumpster outside, and all of a sudden there's an explosion.
Yeah.
I'm like, what gives? What's that about?
Um,
I'm trying to see if I can find some photos, but it was one of those big blue garbage dumpsters that you would picture outside of any school or industrial plaza.
And I want to repeat, before we move on to something else, that you can participate in this program. We usually mention it once a show. I'm mentioning it more than once today, because if you want to come face to face and have a conversation, be it confrontational or supportive or informational or otherwise, we're here for you in the moment. There's a link at the bottom of the screen that you're looking at right now. Click on it. Come into come into the Zoom room, the green room. Kevin will make sure that you're hooked up. All you need is a working camera and a working telephone or a working microphone, so that we have video and audio and we can have a conversation, and we'll hear what's on your mind.
Yeah,
Live and in living color.
And Lee, we're going to have some more interaction. Brad Durant's going to be on here in just a second.
Yep.
Wanted to share with you some of the numbers from our last episode. If you're
Let's
thinking
do
about
that.
impact, top right there, you see that was all about the upcoming tribute night for Rick Rose, Niagara Falls musician. Over 20,000 views on that. Remembering
Was that 2.9K or 29K?
That's 20.7, so 20,000 views.
On the top right, yeah.
Honoring Lance Cunningham, senseless death. Man, I just had another conversation about him this morning with somebody who knew him well.
Yeah,
33,000 views. 38,000 views here on that dog that was
in the
mauling.
park.
Yeah, mauling that park over by the Dump Golf Course in St. Catharines.
Yeah.
16,000 of you watched Niagara Ice Dogs head coach Ben Boudreau talk about their hot start.
He was great.
Fantastic. And Lee,
What a great interview he was.
They continue to roll. They're now ranked 8th in the country. So CHL latest rankings, 16,000 people watched, I don't even know what that is. And these are all of our 17. All in all, our episode from last week has over 125,000 views.
And we thank you for that support. We really, really do. As you can see, over my left breast there is a poppy. Between now and the next time we have a conversation, it will be Remembrance Day. And I wanted to acknowledge all of those people and all of those families that had people that paid the ultimate price for our freedom. November the 11th, Remembrance Day, is just around the corner here in across Canada.
And Lee, I'm just going to dovetail that and remind people that WeeStreem, once again, will be broadcasting live Remembrance Day ceremonies in Port Colborne and in Niagara Falls. So if you can't make it out to a cenotaph, but you really want to feel patriotic and pay respects, the Niagara Falls one I'll actually be sharing on Niagara 411. So you can find it right here in your home, and you can sit there. Maybe you're stuck at the office or wherever you are.
And what should they do to stream you the easiest way?
Just log on to Niagara 411 as you are right now on Facebook, and you'll see it pop up. The ceremony goes live just before about 10:45.
Okay.
In Niagara Falls, so you can find it there.
That's great, and thank you again for that service, because I know you guys don't charge for that.
That's wrong. We charge for that.
You do charge for it? I told you it was a live. I told you it was a live show, but
you know what? The last thing I want to be accused of is somebody
no. But
representing themselves as giving back to the community.
I hear you.
We are,
but you do that.
Yes, we do that on occasion.
But here's the situation. Here's what I wanted to mention. This gives us an opportunity to talk about something important, in the fact that you're doing Port Colborne, Niagara Falls, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There are so many events, and Remembrance Day is a really highlighted one where there are many, many people that would like to be able to come out and acknowledge our veterans and those that are no longer with us because of many wars around the world over the years, but can't get out. They can't travel, or they can't be on site, or whatever. And the concept of streaming these events is really, really important. So to other municipalities and other organizations that have events where you would like as many people as possible to participate, but they might not be able to get to where you are, you can go to them through WeeStream. So if you have something like that falls into that category, contact WeeStream. Give Kevin a call, or just check him out on 411 or on the WeeStream Facebook page itself, and say, hey, I've got something I would like a lot of people to see, but I don't think they can come to me. Can you help make this happen? And chances are it'll be a yes. So my faux pas gave me an opportunity to say that, so that's good. Something good comes out of something negative. All right, but that's great. So, and thank you to Port Colborne and Niagara Falls for seeing the light and understanding that so many of your constituents will be able to enjoy and appreciate your Remembrance Day ceremonies. And we talked about fighting for freedom. Also, there's so many things are happening over the next little while. I'm going to be traveling. I have to go out to British Columbia, see my grandkiddies and sons and daughters-in-law and stuff like that. So I'm going to be away for a couple of weeks. But while I'm away, a lot of things are going on, like Remembrance Day and also the United States election. So by the time we next have a conversation, the United States will have a new president. And there, but for the grace of God go we. We have no idea what that means for Canada one way or the other, but it will mean something for Canada. There will be an impact on Canada. There will be an impact on Niagara. We all live so close to the border, we can't help but get a cold if the United States sneezes. So it's a big deal. And without succumbing to the temptation to get politically positioned, I just, with fingers, eyes, and toes crossed, hope that it goes in a positive direction. So that's going to be a new world when next we chat. Something else happening in the new world. In January, it was announced today, is this attached to some sort of an election? I don't want to be too introspective about this, but you're going to be $200 richer in the new year. It was announced by Premier Ford that every man, woman, and child is going to get $200 in the mail. Why? I don't know. But you're going to get it come January-ish. A lot of things happening. All right, off the top of the program, we mentioned the fact that there are some anomalies to the landlord and tenant legislation in our province, and it reared its ugly head again this week when a gentleman by the name of Brad Durant brought to our attention something that was happening to him and other tenants in the building in which he lives here in Niagara. And we thought it was worthwhile having a conversation and sort of dig down a little bit, drill down into what's going on here. Mr. Durant, Brad, if I can call you that, welcome to the program. How you doing?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you for asking. So, fill us in, just give us a background, first of all, on what led up to the post that you put on Niagara 411 for all of us to see, because we have a lot of people renting properties in the area, be they condos, apartments, houses, whatever they are, and inevitably you run into some sort of thing with the landlord and tenant legislation that exists in Ontario. What's going on with you guys?
Okay, so basically for the past few years, we've all gotten letters in the mail saying that the landlord, Metcalf in my case, was applying to the tenant board to increase the rent further than is legislated, is allowed by the Ontario government. And we got those letters in the mail basically at the end of every year for the past few years since Metcalf bought out this building. Westdale Properties used to own this building. I'm at the Ida Street building. There's also Oakdale and there's also Lake Street. Those are the buildings that Metcalf owns in St. Catharines.
Okay.
So basically, each year we get a letter saying that they're applying to the tenant board to be allowed to do an AGI, which is an above guideline increase, and allow them to increase the rent, each tenant, a certain percentage over the guideline to make us pay more than we're basically supposed to be paying. So basically, each year in the mail, we got this letter. This letter would tell us, this is what we want you to pay, but this is what you have to pay right now. It's not legal yet. It hasn't been approved by the tenant board. But let's say, for example, I was paying $1,000 in rent, and a regular rent increase for the end of the year would be 2%. So say $1,020.
Okay.
If they wanted an AGI, say for 4% to double it, it would be, like $1,040, right? So you would get a thing in the mail saying, okay, so we want you to pay 4%, not 2%. But in the letter, it said it's not approved by the tenant board yet.
Okay.
But it might affect you retroactively in the future.
That's kind of the key right there.
Yeah, so it was presented to us as optional, which I find the key in this whole thing. So we got letter. I mean, legally, landlords have to communicate this with their tenants, but in each letter we got, it was saying that voluntarily we could pay this amount they were asking for. So like that example I gave you before, if I were paying $1,020 for the rent increase at the end of the year, then I'm paying what I'm supposed to pay, right? Mm-hmm. But if I'm paying that 4% that they want, then I'm catering to their needs. I mean, those aren't really my concern. I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure why they have to affect myself as well as other tenants.
Yeah.
But so it's, nobody wants to pay that. Nobody wants to pay extra money. They usually ignore it. But just last month, this AGI arrear was approved by the tenant board.
Right.
And we all got a ledger in the mail detailing, this is what we wanted you to pay these past couple years, and you didn't. You paid the $1,020. You didn't pay the $1,040. These aren't actual figures. I'm just using this as an analogy.
So I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. But so I can understand when AGI can affect somebody to the point that, okay, you're paying more rent. Your rent is going up more at the end of the year than it usually would. That's fine. But what we got in the mail here at the Ida Street location, the Metcalf building, they told us, since 2022, this is the amount you wanted to pay and you didn't. So we're going to take all of that, put it in a lump sum, and put it in your mailbox.
Gotcha.
And that's basically what we're all dealing with at the Metcalf building at 24 Ida.
Now, you mentioned also in your post that you personally will be able to weather the storm and remain in your residence. However, there are those in your building and probably other buildings perhaps that aren't so lucky, to put pick not a better word, but
Well, yeah, I only mentioned that in my post because there are retired individuals in this building. There are low-income individuals in this building. So when they're slapped with thousands of dollars of the bill that just comes through your mail slot, out of nowhere, that's money they have to put up right away. In the ledger, I have it right here. They say we have 120 days to pay it on top of our rent.
So they got 120 days to pay it? Is that what you said?
120 days to pay it, full month.
Okay, so roughly
the due date is February. Get this: the due date is February 14th. Poetic, right?
Valentine's Day. Yeah, we love you. Won't you be my Valentine?
I mean, the last line in this thing, I have it right here. We look forward to continuing to build a positive relationship with our residents. That made me laugh. I was pretty sure that was a jab.
Okay, so it's kind of an unfortunate situation in a number of ways. First of all, the landlord is not doing anything or has not done anything what you would term illegal. What they've done is a legal process that they've been following.
Yeah, exactly. This was a battle between Metcalf and the tenant board for multiple years. It dated back before 2022. 2022, right. The arrears affecting us back to 2022. I'm surprised they didn't go back further, but I mean, we're all so lucky, right? But like, I owe $1,000 in arrears. It's not that I don't have the money. It's just that's coming out of my savings. So that's
sure.
It stings. It's unpleasant.
Sure,
Nobody should have to deal with that.
Absolutely.
But I know multiple retired individuals in this building who live off of fixed income, who are on pension, who they just can't afford to pony up to 1,000 or 1,000 is what's affecting me. I met a guy down in the office who was complaining to the building management. His was up to 1,400. I think there are residents in here who have it up to $3,000. So that'll be $3,000, or you're addicted.
Yeah, that's going to leave a mark. But
it's absolutely dirty.
Here's where the gap comes in from. This is just me thinking out loud here with you. Is it seems that the application by the landlord. The AGI application, the above guideline increase application, between the time that they make the application and it goes through the approval process is way too long. You know what it's like?
It's extremely long, and and just as well, you make a good point there, because at the same time, a lot of people, I ask people about this, like people with other rental companies, like friends of mine, and I'd be like, is this something I should worry about? Should I pay this extra amount that they're asking for? And they're like, no, they're not allowed to do that. It's not that these people, they know how it works. But what I absolutely could not believe was the fact that after years of Metcalf, my rental company, battling with the tenant board to get this AGI, that they would approve something that would affect us back to 2022 to pay these arrears. Money people don't have.
Yeah. That seems to be
that's coming out of their life savings. That's coming out of their credit.
I totally hear you. And that seems to be where the disconnect in this process takes place, is the fact that it's okay, of course, you can apply. It's a fully legal process to go through. You can apply for an above guideline increase. However, one of two things needs to be changed, in my humble opinion, with the legislation, is the fact that the approval process happens faster, so the tenants know exactly what they're on the hook for every month, so that they're not building up a debt. That could be one solution, or the other solution is the fact that it's not retroactive. Your rent would be increased.
No, that's shit.
Once the increase is approved. Like one of those two things.
Absolutely.
One of those two things has to happen.
My notion going in was that nothing like that would happen. They would say, like, in these letters that we got, it was saying that it could affect us in the past. It was kind of vague. It didn't really let on to the fact that, okay, what we've wanted you to pay for the past couple of years, you're still going to owe in the future. And then I have people telling me that that's not going to happen. They're not allowed to do that. It's like, I know there was a tenant
But they
battle
are
going,
allowed to do that.
a battle going.
Yeah, Brad, it's Kevin here. You just don't see me on the screen. What happened to tenants where maybe they left the building and somebody else, took up their tenancy in 2022 or 2023 when this dispute was going between the landlord and the tenant?
Oh no, it was a lot earlier than that.
But what happens to people what happened to people that left? Like, do the new tenants have to pay 2 years back, even though they've only been tenants for maybe 6 months? Like, you've been there the whole time.
Oh, I can imagine. So basically, when Metcalf took over this building, before Westdale Properties owned this building, and when I first moved in here back in 2018, I was paying just a little over $900 in rent. Metcalf bought the building out, demoed the empty units, put new appliances in, a new sign went up outside like for the open houses, and then one bedroom apartments were all of a sudden $1,600.
So, Kevin, to go to your.
So basically, I mean, well, first of all, when Metcalf took over the building, I saw a surplus of moving trucks outside. So it's those people weren't being evicted, but I could tell that people kind of caught on to the situation. They were like, I don't want to be a part of this. We're going to get out of here before this company starts up. Because clearly they're trying to capitalize on their investment, because Metcalf is owned by an investment firm in Toronto, Starlight Investments. And the way I see it in the world of investments, like if you're in that field, there's money gained and there's money lost. So when you buy out a building with tenants that are already paying $900 a month in rent, and this is obviously going back to 2019, you don't see rent like that anymore. The situation is like, you can invite new tenants in, and they can be paying say $1,800 a month for a one-bedroom apartment in the building.
Right.
But there are those who are already living there, and they're still paying that $900 a month, because the lease and the law, the Rent Control Act in Ontario, they don't allow that. You get a new company can't just take your $900 a month rent and kick it all the way up to $1,800.
No, but they can change the rents for new tenants.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, if the unit's empty, then it's advertised obviously as like the new rent that they want.
Yeah,
but for sure,
so
people already living here.
That's where I think, Kevin, it kind of comes to your point, is the fact that if you've got a new tenant, they shouldn't be responsible for the last couple of years, but the landlord can then set a new rent level, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just wondering if anybody got saddled with that, or if they tried to go back for a new tenant that had been there 6 months and said, hey, I don't care if you're new or not, you owe 24 months.
Okay, so
no, they didn't do that. This is for the time I've been here. I've occupied this building. I'm not going back.
No, and that's so different than a lot of landlords. I mean, to be honest, rental prices have gone through the roof.
Oh, for sure.
And landlords right now are looking at some of their legacy tenants, like yourself, that have been there on, let's say, pre-COVID rents, and saying, man, if I can somehow squeeze them out, I can re-rent this for almost double the price. And I'm not saying who's right or who's wrong.
Yeah.
It just is.
Anyway, just to reverse what I said, what we have here is we have a legislative issue and a process issue here. We don't have illegality. We don't have culpability. Except we have perhaps a better communication would have helped, as you mentioned. But it's still a legislative issue in the fact that the government should be able to clean up this process so that it makes sense to tenants and landlords alike. So, my question next is to you is there anything happening? Has there been any formal complaint or request or anything put in place by your tenants association or whoever is a spokesman, maybe yourself? What are next steps? Or is this just you letting all of us know what's going on?
No, absolutely not. That's actually why I was so happy to come on your program today. First of all, I think there was a meeting last year. It didn't have a good attendance. I'm not going to lie. I didn't even show up. We got a letter in the mail. I don't think anybody took it seriously. I think me being on your program here today is making it is kind of increasing the cachet to it.
The awareness, yeah.
But what I've done is written up over 100 letters for each of my tenants. So on the weekend, when I'm assuming most people are going to be home from work, I'll be knocking on doors, handing them a letter explaining the situation of what Metcalf is doing to us isn't fair, asking for their name, asking for their phone number, and arranging possible further actions. I don't think we'll be going to legal aid or any local lawyer's office, anything like that, because this has already been approved by the tenant board. This has already been a bunch of lawyers sitting in a room with Metcalf, with the tenant board, arguing what they can do. They're allowed to do this. The law says they can do this, but what the law says isn't always, it's not always justifiably morable. I mean, in my opinion.
Understood. Yep.
But I'd like to communicate. I'd like to communicate with my tenants. I'd like to congregate them. I'd like to all get together, talk about what we're going to do, and just be heard. Now, not necessarily that we're gonna get rid of these retroactive arrears that are currently plaguing all of us. But the fact that together, your voices are louder, right? I mean, the fact that I've mentioned Metcalf multiple times on here with you. I mean, if they catch on to that, they're not going to be too happy with me. But at the same time, it's like I'd like people to understand landlords in Ontario, but what Metcalf specifically. I live in the Ida Street building. There are 3 Metcalf buildings in St. Catharines. There's Ida Street, there's Oakdale, and there's Lake Street, and that's happening to all of them. Like when I was down in the office where the building manager was, like, obviously I was complaining. I was like, "Are you serious about this? Like, I'm not paying this." And she was like, "Oh yeah, no, we were just over at the Oakdale location. We were having the same situation with all our tenants. I'm surprised there aren't people outside with signs and pitchforks, you know."
Brad, I really appreciate 2 things. First of all, you putting this up on the platform so that everybody could kind of be aware of what's happening, and following that up by coming on the program to explain it, because as we know, this whole landlord-tenant relationship can get very, very complicated, and I hope you and your fellow tenants and the landlord can come to some sort of due process that you both can live comfortably with and people don't lose their homes.
I don't imagine so. I imagine we're all going to be doomed by these arrears, and people who can't afford to pay up to those arrears, they're going to end up being evicted. Like when I was downstairs in the office, they were saying, "Okay, well, if you can't pay it, then you're gone." And in my opinion, what Metcalf is trying to do is take out those low-income individuals who are still paying under, say, $1,000 in rent a month since they've had leases since before 2019, since the COVID, since the rent hike. These are people who can't afford $1,800 in rent.
Have you had an
for
opportunity?
a one-bedroom apartment.
I get it. Have you had an opportunity to chat with the MPPs that are responsible for these districts, or these 3 billions, where these 3 buildings are?
I haven't. I would love the opportunity, but I haven't.
Because the MPPs are members of provincial parliament for the province of Ontario, who are the arbiters of the landlord-tenants legislation here in Ontario. And it is something that the government should be made aware of, because it is a government process that is involved here in this AGI application. It's the process that takes so long, and the details of when it's implemented, when it's not, and what people are on the hook for, etc. It's something that is really unclear for most people, and then they get caught up in the system, as you've just explained to us. So there's a procedural and a legislative issue here that needs to be addressed. Thanks for being here, Brad, and I wish you and all of your fellow tenants good luck, and keep us posted on how you're doing, all right?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Lee. Thank you for having me on. I'm glad I got the chance to get the story out.
Yeah, me too. Thank you very much. And once again, Kevin, we've got businesses and regular citizenry caught up in a system that is often unclear, often ignored on some levels, and then we're looking at something after the fact saying, what the hell's going on here? And nobody is actually doing anything that's breaking the law. But it's a moral and ethical approach, I suppose, to the situation, in that the letters that go out to tenants that the landlords are required to send, I mean, maybe they should come out in big, bold print and big red letters. Please pay attention to this. This could affect your finances. This could affect your livelihood. It could affect where you live. So please pay attention to this letter. We're not fooling around here. I don't know. That's just a what if. But we got a communication issue, and we have a process issue. We have a legislative issue, and those things aren't simpatico right now. Now, a private landlord, if you're a small person, you own a rental property, for example, you can go talk to your tenants, knock on the door, talk to them, and say, "Hey, I just want to let you know we're going through this," and then have a conversation. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a landlord. I have a rental property.
Yeah, you do.
So
yeah,
I'm familiar with the above guideline legislation and applying for it and this and that. And to be honest, it's not so backhanded because the government, if anything, the laws protect the tenants much more than they do the landlords when it comes to residential tenancies.
Yeah, and evictions and all that
Ontario.
stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, they applied for it and they got it. The weird thing is, though, is to go that far back. And like you said, it's so far in arrears and the process takes so long that even if you give somebody a notification 2 years ago and say, hey, you can voluntarily start paying this now, I don't know how many people are going to do it.
Almost 0% of people are going to voluntarily increase their rent.
But for that process to take 2 years to the point that you've accrued $1,000
and then make it retroactive
and give you only 4 months to pay it seems punitive.
It's just there's something in the legislation that doesn't make sense. And again, thank you to our sponsors. Our main sponsor is Gales Gas Bars, have been with us almost from the very genesis of this program. Family owned and operated for almost 60 years here in Niagara. A petroleum company with 11 service stations, full serve and self-serve. 4 convenience stores in Niagara, wholesale fuel delivery, home heating fuel delivery, oil lubricant delivery, your one-stop petroleum shop, if you will. Thank you, Gales, for your continued support. Sandra's Home Health Care. Experience exceptional care at home with Sandra's Home Health Care. From hospital hustle to comfort at home. SHHC or Sandra's Home Health Care, where care is just a call away, enhancing lives with tailored, and that's an important point, tailored home health care services, including medical management, 24/7 care if that's required. And Sandra's is numero uno as far as accreditations are concerned here in the home health care industry. And we're still going to follow up on that. I keep mentioning this, but when we're trying to get Ontario healthcare officials and representatives along with Sandra and along with us, because there have been changes, there have been alterations and more strict protocols put in place for accreditation as a home health care service. And I suppose this was highlighted more during COVID, when we were inundated with stories, and some of them not good, about the kind of care that our seniors and our loved ones were getting in residential elder homes across the province. So if there's anything good to have come out of the whole COVID experience, one of the good things is the fact that that system has been under scrutiny and has been evaluated and has been looked at closely over the last couple of years. Not to say it's perfect, but there have been new regulations, restrictions put in place, and operational protocols put in place that are very, very important. And we're trying to get one of those interviews on here for you, but we want to make sure we can get all the players together to talk about that. So, but if you have questions about it, call Sandra's Home Health Care, because Sandra's totally up on all of that stuff. Also, Verge Insurance Group, be it home, health, home, life, car insurance. Verge Insurance Brokers since 1953. They have been in business here in Niagara. Totally Niagara owned and operated. Verge Insurance Brokers Limited, located just in my line of sight, pretty much, over on Ontario Street here in St. Catharines. Ace Alignment, also, thank you so much for being here. I was It was great. I was able to run into owner-operator Janice Pretty. Her family's operated this business for a long, long time. Ran into Janice and her husband, our friend Eric Thomas, at a local restaurant the other day, and it was just kind of cool to say, hey, how are you? And good, and like the show? Yeah, it's okay. Haven't offended anybody too badly yet, so that's good. Owner-operator Janice, of course, head mechanic Darren Miller, the senior mechanic is Matt Crompton, and they're located on North Street, just off Geneva, on my other side, over here behind the Niagara Regional Police Service Station on Welland Street. So great automotive service at Ace Alignment. Equal Wellness Services. Audrey Wall, the foot nurse, has expanded her profession into this beautiful new location at Unit 5, 365 Vine Street. It's a small strip mall on Vine Street between Scott and Carlton. And I did want to mention that in addition to exemplary foot care of all types, osteopath David Fast is there and also available to help your needs in that area. Sarah Sudi is a psychotherapist who has joined the organization as well. And so if you can do some research on what psychotherapists are, and Sarah can be there for you. And another thing I wanted to mention on behalf of Audrey, first of all, get better. She's got a bad cold today. Sorry to hear that. But if there are any of you or your family members that are suffering from a thing called lymphedema, it's a very debilitating situation, and there are very, very few practitioners or organizations in Niagara that will address the symptoms and actually the cause of lymphedema situations. Contact Equal Wellness Services. Okay, 938-3668 is the telephone number. And we are excited to not gonna spill the beans too badly here. We're going to be welcoming a new sponsor to the program in the very near future. So we're very pleased that the program is receiving the kind of support in Niagara that it has, and we thank you for contributing to that as well. So in a couple of weeks, we'll have a new organization to introduce you to, born and bred here in Niagara. Kevin, boy, the time has flown by already, has it not? We have, do we have both of our people on the line at the same time? Good. This is a story that kind of pulled at our heartstrings on Niagara 411 a while back. A lady by the name of Mary Leighton had her sole means of transportation stolen. And I'm not going to tell the story. We'll bring Mary and her son David in here to chat about this. Hi guys, can you hear me and see me okay there?
Yeah, we can see you. How you doing?
Okay, good. Mary and Dave, if you want to put your heads a little bit closer together, pretend you like each other. There we go.
Or on my phone, yeah.
Okay, that's perfect.
Right.
Thank you for joining us. Mary, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Can you tell us what happened, Mary?
Yes, I've been riding my bike, and it's a very unusual bike for many years, and I really enjoy it. And I keep it in the shed in the back garden, but unfortunately I'd forgot to lock the shed, and when I went to get it, it had disappeared. And so, in all things, when I have a problem, who do I call but my son David? And he took over from there.
Well, with a lot of help, yeah.
Now, what made this bike special for you?
Well, it's got a backrest, which is very important because I do have a problem with my back. I bought it in Bike Fit in St. Catharines. I've never seen one like it anywhere. And my favorite quote was from two little boys. I was riding one day and they said, "Look at that old lady on that cool bike."
That's great. Sorry, David, I cut you off. You were going to tell us something there.
Yeah, it's just she gets a lot of joy out of that bike. She does all her errands. She likes riding. The people in the neighborhood know her, and she's always she'd rather ride that bike than get in her car. She has a new car, and then in the spring it's probably only got a few kilometers on it, because if it's a nice day, she likes to exercise. And having that taken from her was pretty heartbreaking. And I just thought, there's no way we're going to get this back. And then some things started happening. If you want to know the story,
Yeah, I do.
Tell it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is last Monday night. Somebody unfortunately went into the back shed and took my mom's bike. So she called me Tuesday, all upset. Thought, oh geez, we're never gonna get this thing back. It's a bike. It's gone.
Yeah.
So I met her at Bike Fit to get a new one, and the lady behind the counter says, "Why don't you report it to the police?" I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Never thought of that. And then I thought at the same time, why don't I just try and post it on the Facebook page of Niagara 411? Well, I always see things on there. But my mom notified the police. I notified Facebook 411. And I got an automatic reply saying the gentleman that runs it doesn't look for stolen items or lost pets anymore. He's too busy with other really important things for the community.
All right. And
I thought, oh, shoot, okay. And then 15 minutes later, he emailed me personally, hearing my story, and he very kindly posted this lost bike from my mom. Oh, great. So now it's going to get out there and go viral. Hopefully someone can see it and hear it or notify me. And sure enough, about 15 minutes later, a lady got a hold of me through Messenger that lives in the neighborhood of my mom, doesn't know my mom personally, but always sees her riding her bike. So she notified me and said, I know where your bike is. I know who has it. My brother, unfortunately, is struggling, and he's on the streets, and he's an addict. He's got your bike. I saw it this morning in my driveway.
Wow.
I'm driving to where he is now. I think I know where he is. I'm going to go downtown, and I'm going to get your bike back for your mom. I said, okay, no problem. You want a reward? We don't care what happened. No questions asked. Just please return the bike. So she goes downtown, and she calls me back saying, I'm sorry, my brother's already gotten rid of it. We don't know what he did with it, sold it, whatever. So she says, I'll give him till 8 a.m. to fix it, till tomorrow morning. He needs to bring that bike back to me by 8 a.m. Wednesday morning, or I'm calling. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Unfortunately, it never came back, and I said, don't worry about it. We'll do other arrangements. So this is now Wednesday. So the bike's been gone 24 hours. Then I had another gentleman get a hold of me because he saw the 411 Facebook page, and he goes, he took a picture of it, and he sent it to me. He says, this your bike? I said, oh my goodness, yes. He says, I'm the building manager downtown, and I had an altercation with a gentleman this morning with that bike. Sorry I didn't see the post before, but is this the bike? And he sent me a picture. Yes, he took a picture of the security cameras. And he goes, yeah, that's my bike. That's my mom's bike. Thank you so much. He goes, this is the gentleman that had taken it. I sent that to his sister. I said, is this your brother? She says, yep, that's my brother. That's the bike. I'm like, oh boy. So he had shown up at a probationary period on a stolen probationary hearing with my mom's stolen bike. That was the way he got there. I was like, oh my.
I mean, it's not funny, but it kind of is. Did we lose him?
Just had a disconnect there, but oh boy, it's not. I mean, even he's laughing at it, so I guess we can as well.
Yeah.
But
you show up.
Just.
Oh man.
The absolute irony of the whole thing.
And while we're waiting to reconnect with David and Mary, just another 2 thumbs up to Nick and his Niagara 411 community, meaning you people that are watching the program right now. That's one of the charming things about what makes this community, and I mean the community of Niagara 411, work, is everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows something, and it's that intricate web of communication and interaction and relationships that make it work. So that's awesome stuff. What a great story.
Yeah, just working on getting them back here and getting Zoom back up and running. And hopefully this doesn't interfere with us getting the lady on from Jamaica, whose son, Alpachino.
Yeah, there's a story that we're hoping, as Kevin mentioned, to have this young man's, well, he's not that young, he's 26 years old, but he's in Ontario from Jamaica to participate in a rugby tournament taking place in, or that was to take place, maybe it has already taken place, on October the 19th, he was last sighted. The tournament was supposed to happen in Brampton, but he was sighted in Niagara on the Lake on the 19th of October, and it's just over the last couple of days that we have been notified that he is now officially a missing person. His name is Alpachino Magnot. I think we're pronouncing his last name correctly, I'm not sure. His mom is Meshanda Nesbeth. She is in Jamaica, and she said she's going to do her level best to join us today on the program in a few minutes, or now, as the case may be.
Yeah, I'm just getting David and his mother back, so maybe we can finish off the story. Sorry about that, guys.
Hi, guys. Sorry, we had a bit of a technical dropout there. We're talking with David and Mary Leighton. Mary's bike was stolen, ultimately returned to her. David was telling us about how it was recovered, which is a story in and of itself. What a courageous thing.
Where did I leave off?
You left off with the fact that he rode the bike to a probation hearing at the courthouse.
Yes. That's so the gentleman, the building manager, had an altercation with the gentleman that took the bike, and he asked him to leave the premises, but he was actually at his probationary hearing. Sadly, he took my mom's bike to get there. And anyway, he took a picture of the security camera. I got confirmation that it was the lady's brother that had taken it and the bike. So I'm still wondering, how are we going to get this bike back? It's still out there. Where is this thing? And sure enough, Thursday afternoon now, maybe 48 hours after it got missing, a gentleman had seen the Niagara 411 post. And he goes, oh my goodness, this bike is at my place of business. He showed up for work. It's on Welland Avenue. And he got a hold of me. He goes, I think I've got your mom's bike. Come on down. I said, I'll be there in half an hour. So my daughter was home from university. I said, get in the truck, or I think we've got Nana's bike. And I drove down there, and sure enough, a very kind gentleman named Kevin had just shown up for work, and it was leaning in the back of his business. It was just sitting there. And he brought it into his office, and he wheeled it out and gave it to me. And I thought, oh my goodness, thank you so much. My mom's going to be over the moon. Gave him a little reward money. He said, oh no, I don't want it. I said, I insist. Thank you. You found it through the power of the internet. And I drove him to my house where my mom lives, and she was out. So when she came up the driveway with the bike in the carport, she was just in tears. It was such a good, happy ending for 48 hours. What an adventure that bike had been on. But through the power of the internet and people coming together in Niagara, 411 and various people, it's just an incredible, happy ending.
Well, it's great to have the happy ending, although it was pretty traumatic. Mary, probably an indescribable feeling when you realized your bike was back home.
I couldn't believe it, actually. I thought, because I've been told you'll never get it back. Even the police said, oh, not another one. There's so many of them being stolen. And the next day in the St. Catharines Standard, there was a young lady with autism that had had her bike stolen as well. So I'm telling everybody out there, please lock your bikes up.
Yes, I remember her story as well, and I thought it rather coincidental, but as you say, it happens a lot. Mary and David, thank you for telling us your story. I'm glad that the Niagara 411 community was able to help you, and safe and happy riding, Mary. Enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Truly amazing. That's a view, ladies and gentlemen, of your Fiddler's Poorhouse here at 149 St. Paul Streets, with all kinds of scrumptious and tasty offerings, liquid as well as great food here for lunch and dinner and whatever ails you. So we thank Dave McParian and his staff for putting up with us every couple of weeks here. It's a great spot to come and enjoy yourself and relax a little bit and have some fun. Kevin, have we made any progress with or heard from Meshanda yet?
You know what? I'm actually sending some text to her right now,
Okay.
trying to encourage her. She was a little apprehensive when we were chatting last night about coming on the program, but understood, like, hey, we're just trying to help spread the information
Absolutely.
about your son that nobody's heard from going on 10, 11 days now.
Yeah, so this fellow is from Jamaica. His name is, which has received some attention, his first name is Alpachino. I know. Last name, Magnot, and he was here ostensibly to participate in a rugby tournament to take place in Brampton, Ontario. We don't know where that is. It's a Toronto suburb, if you will. As of October 19th, that's the last time anybody has seen Alpachino, all one word, and that happened to be in Niagara-on-the-Lake, hence the Niagara connection in this case. It's only recently, over the last couple of days, this, you can see it was put up on the 29th, which was yesterday, that he is officially now a missing person. We have her, Kevin?
Yeah, we just got her now. Looks like she's in her car somewhere, which is fine.
All right, let's give this a try because we're going all the way to Jamaica for this one. Hello, is this Meshanda?
Yes, it is.
And you can hear me clearly and everything is good?
Yes, I can.
Okay. And where in Jamaica do you live, Meshanda?
I live in St. Catherine, Portmore.
St. Catherine.
Yeah.
So do we. We live in St. Catharines as well, only many, many miles away. All right, tell us about Alpachino and why he's here and when you last talked to him and how can we help you?
Okay, so my son Alpachino McNutt, he came up on the 16th of October. Well, he's between vacation but most reason why he's up there is because they were to play a rugby match because he's a part of a rugby union. So they had a match on Saturday. So after the match, I spoke to him about after 7, asking him how, was the match and everything. And he said it was, well, they've never win. Canada beat them, but it was a good match. He said that he was going to meet up with the team to have a drink. And I said, okay, fine, go ahead, enjoy yourself. So he was supposed to, he extended the trip to Wednesday after last week. He was supposed to return. He called me back about after 8, maybe after 9 Canadian time. From then, I have not spoken to him.
And what date was that you spoke to him, Meshanda?
I think that was the 19th Saturday.
That was the 19th.
Yeah.
And he was he in? We had heard that on the 19th that he was in Niagara-on-the-Lake, which is a municipality very close to where we are in St. Catharines, quite a ways outside Toronto. When you spoke with him, was he here in Niagara area or was he still in the Toronto area?
I couldn't say,
okay.
But I would believe that he was in Brampton because he left the match. He was in communication with a girlfriend that he is talking to that lives in America. So most of the information that I have is through her because they were communicating, right? So she was the one that called me to say, hey, call Alpachino.
No, we lost some audio here.
Now go ahead, Meshanda. Just continue. It'll probably write itself.
Sorry about that. A lot of calls coming in.
That's okay.
All right, so she was the one that called me about after 3 Sunday morning to say I'm calling, because I call him Al. I've been calling him, can't get him. So I said, what you mean? I mean, maybe he's out with his friends because he tell me that he's going to meet up with the team to, have a drink. He said, maybe he's asleep, And she said, no, but it's not like that. He normally answer my call whenever I call him. So I said, I'm not worried because it's not like I felt any way in my spirit to say, okay, then something is wrong. Because, most time when people call at a certain time, the first thing you're going to want to know what is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really feel that. So I said, listen, he's okay, he's fine. Don't worry yourself. And she said, but we have been calling him, he's not answering. I've texted him, he has not responded, and all of that. So it never really bothered me like that, right? So in the morning, she texted me while I was at church, asking me if I hear anything. I said no. So I called her now to find out what's really going on, because I said, if he's calling anybody, you would be the first one for him to call, because children, especially when you find a partner, them not really communicate with your parents, they more communicate with the partner that you see as a partner. So I said, you would be the one that he's communicating with. I don't know anything. So, questioning her, why is it that she said that he called her to say that, meet me at Niagara. She texted him while we were on the Uber. She said that he texted her to say, I am here coming off the Uber now, and she said, she asked him why would he come off at that point while he's supposed to meet her at Niagara Falls. I have never been to Canada. I don't know how it's situated, what's the distance between. That's
okay.
So she said, after he said to her that he's coming off the Uber now, she texts him and she not get a response. She called him, not getting a response. The phone keep ringing, all of that. So I'm like, that's strange. So from Sunday morning till this very day, we have been calling him, can't get him. At one point the phone was ringing, then it stopped, then it ring again, then it stopped, then no, there's nothing, we're not hearing anything. So that would have been the last location. She actually sent me a picture of the location because they share location, right? So that's all the information I have. So they made a report to the police. The police, as my understanding, that they went to the river, checking to see if he attempt to cross, because they said that there's a little part in a park where you can walk, a narrow track where you can walk to the river. They said that they have searched the river, they have not seen any body or anything like that. So they said that, as I said, I'm just relating what I hear, that they checked the borders to see if he's in detention, that he's tried to or attempt to cross the river.
And the police don't have the police don't have any other information about him. I'm assuming they're continuing to investigate his disappearance or his lack of appearance.
Right. So when I spoke to the detective about 2 days ago or so, she said that they actually post it in the local news and stuff like that. So they want to put it on a wider base while to send it across social media.
Yes,
so
which is why we're having this conversation.
Right.
Meshanda, is he happy at home in Jamaica? Is there a chance that he just decided to stay under the radar and stay in Canada of his own free will and just sort of disappear? Does that sound like him? Is it something he would do?
Honestly speaking, I cannot answer to say yes or no, right? Because my son is 26 years old.
Yeah.
He does not live at my house anymore because, they want their own privacy.
Sure.
Right? So I can't tell you about his happiness, but I would assume that he doesn't have a problem because he has a job. Right? He has, him own kind of bills to pay, so nobody is stressing for them. We say, well, parents normally be the one to knock them and stress them out and all of that. Anybody is stressing, it wouldn't be me.
Yeah.
And I would know. You understand me? So I can't tell you that would be the case.
Are you worried?
I know of my son as a person, a quiet person. He goes to work, he comes home, he's at home all the day. If his friends don't come and check up on him or so, he's not a person just take up himself and just go out like that unless he has company, unless somebody is guiding him somewhere. right?
Right.
So I know my son as a quiet person. He's not a troublemaker. Him don't go out in the mix-up,
Gotcha.
right? Because that's one thing I try to instill in him, you know.
Has
Yeah,
he
he's a
traveled?
quiet person.
Has he traveled before to play
Yes, he has
rugby?
Yes, he has traveled before. My son was a part of the Jamaica rugby youth team, that is the Young Crocs at the time. He started it from high school coming up. Jamaica had qualified as the first Caribbean country to go to Hong Kong to play rugby, and he was a part of that team.
Okay.
Right?
So sorry to interrupt you, but this is a responsible young man with a family and a life and doing good things, and travels to another country, hours, and disappears. That's what we've got.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I just ask one thing,
Yeah,
Lee?
please do.
And I may have missed this. Have you been in contact, Meshanda, with the rest of the rugby players or the rugby team? Have they already returned to Jamaica? What are you hearing from them?
Well, I've spoken to the coach, right? I've spoken to the coach, you know, calling to find out or tell me what the detective, you know, relayed to them, because I wasn't the one that made the report, right? It was made between his friend that picked him up from the Airbnb to bring him to the match, and between the girlfriend, right? So the coach is very concerned because he wasn't at the hotel with them. He stayed somewhere else because of the, what do I call it now, said that it's a little bit more cheaper to stay at the Airbnb, right? Mm-hmm. So the coach has called me, the union has called me to find out, you know, if I hear anything. You know, they're trying to figure it out. Otherwise, speaking to the friend that, you know, he was with when he's up there, you know, there's nothing on his end, you know. So everybody is really concerned right now.
I guess so. Meshanda Nesbeth, thank you for joining us today and taking the time out all the way from St. Catharines, Jamaica. We thank you. We will continue to follow the story. We hope Alpachino is found safe and sound, and we'll stay in touch, and you keep us posted as well, okay?
Okay, I thank you very much for this interview, and, you know, I just want to say to persons that have been reaching out to me, calling, I mean, it's a time.
Okay. Thanks, Meshanda. We were able to get that in all the way from Jamaica. That's good.
She's just adding something here. Go ahead, Meshanda.
So in this time, you know, just to see persons from all over that I really don't know, and they don't know me, they don't know my son, you know, just reaching out. You know, some will say, you know, we're standing in the gap praying for you. Some will try in every way to assist me. I mean, I want to take this opportunity that I have now to say thanks. You know, and it really means a lot to me.
I'm sure it does. And you're very welcome on behalf of all
It really means a lot to me to see that people really cares. Whether it's just to get an interview, yes or no. It really means a lot to see that people really cares about other persons and what they're going through. And I really want to tell them thanks.
Kind of you to say. Thank you very much, Meshanda. We wish you a good day and a happy ending to this story. Wow, that's got to be tough. And again, one of those mysteries that you don't know. Kevin, here we are. Season 5, Episode 23 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. We want to thank once again Gales Gas Bars, our premier and highlight sponsor here of the program. Sandra's Home Healthcare. Experience exceptional care at home 24/7 if necessary. Verge Insurance Group, for all of your insurance needs. They are brokers that will look after your home, your auto, your life insurance, etc., whatever your insurance needs. They'll check it out. They'll listen to your budget, figure out what they can do to get you what you need and make sure you're protected. Also, Ace Alignment for all your automotive services. Obviously wheel alignments, but they do MTO measurements and registrations as well as just about any other automotive need you might have for your automobile. All kinds of makes and models and vintages of automobiles. and equal wellness services. Audrey, the foot nurse, obviously exemplary healthcare when it comes to anything related to feet, but also David Fast, osteopath, is in that office, as well as Sarah Sudi, psychotherapist, and more to come on how they deal with an issue that's more prevalent than you might think. You may not have heard of it, but it's a pretty big deal called lymphedema. They treat the symptoms of that. So we'll hear more from Audrey in the near future. Thanks to all of our sponsors, and to Kevin Jack of WeeStream, of course. The executive producer of this program. Kevin and his partner Brandon Scram run Canada's premier streaming services, WeeStream, and it's always a pleasure to work with Kevin on the exemplary technology that takes place as part of this show.
Yeah, thanks very much, Lee. And again, keep your eyes open for Remembrance Day ceremonies from Port Colborne and Niagara Falls. I will be rebroadcasting, or I guess simulcasting, the Niagara Falls ceremony on Niagara 411. So if you're looking to participate and pay honor that those lost fighting for our freedom on November 11th, and for whatever reason, lots of reasons you can't get out to a cenotaph, you can do that right from the comfort of your own phone or your own computer, whatever it is, right here on Niagara 411. Lee, I got to set up for the ending of the show, believe it or not.
Yeah, we're getting there, aren't we?
And I want to leave you with this one here. I'll let you set it up, and then I'll go set up a couple things that I need to do to the end of the program. This is the incident on Gale Crescent, and originally came across Niagara 411 as an incident on Gale Crescent, and we know that that's kind of the underbelly of St. Catharines as far as, different neighborhoods and what have you, but the NRP responded swiftly. And
we often find it easy to take shots, pardon the phrase, I shouldn't have said it that way, at police service sometimes, and wonder, where are the cops in all this? Why aren't the cops doing something? Well, in this case, it was a pretty quick resolution to not a good situation at all. October 29th, we're talking yesterday. Uniform officers from NRPS responded to a report of a stabbing in St. Catharines. Officers attended the area of Gale Crescent and Frank Street. An adult female victim was receiving treatment from Niagara Emergency Medical Services paramedics for a serious injury. The victim was transported to an out-of-region hospital, and anytime that happens, you know it must be serious and somebody that requires perhaps specialized care. The injury believed to be non-life-threatening, but was still serious. The initial investigation determined the victim was acting as a sex trade worker at the time. The male suspect and female victim had a brief interaction before the suspect suddenly became violent and assaulted the victim with a knife. Suspect fled the scene in a Ford Fiesta. The facsimile of that vehicle is on the right-hand side of your screen right now. They were able to identify a suspect as a result of their quick investigation, and at 1:15 in the afternoon, the suspect was arrested in a residence in the area of Canterbury Drive and Exeter Drive in St. Catharines. The Fiesta was located and seized for forensic examination by Forensic Service Unit detectives. Braxton Edward Winnick, of 19 years of age, of St. Catharines, was arrested, charged with the criminal offenses of aggravated sexual assault with a weapon, and his description is unnecessary at this point because we don't need you to look for him anymore. He was actually caught and arrested. And again, it's very easy for us to point fingers, and often we'll say, gee, I wonder why it's taken so darn long to find somebody that should be easily identifiable, should be easily traceable, should be able, the investigation shouldn't be taking this long, and all of the should be's and would be's and ifs and onlys and all the rest of it, and often on the receiving end of the criticisms are our police forces. And in this case, I thought we would just mention the fact that things worked out properly. Not for the poor woman that was stabbed, not for the social situations that exist that require females such as this person to be on the street practicing the sex trade. Those things are bigger issues that we need to solve. at some point, someday, we hope. But again, that area of Niagara has been a problem area for a long time, and it doesn't seem to show any signs of improving. The Gale Crescent is, I was going to say famous, but more or less infamous for this kind of activity, meaning the sex trade and other nefarious activities, but rarely do we have, or rarely I hope, maybe more than we know, have life-threatening injuries, or in this case, hopefully non-life-threatening, but serious nevertheless. The big societal issues are big issues, and they're bigger problems than we can address and solve here today, but I just wanted to go on record again as saying, in this case, law enforcement was speedy and timely and accurate and got the job done, and we thank them for that, because you got a tough job to do out there. All of our first-time responders, first-line responders, be it fire, be it police, be it emergency medical services, or other agencies that are first responders. We don't have an opportunity to say thank you often enough, but thank you. I would like to thank the people that participated in the program today. Brad Durant, the resident of Niagara, that is a resident of a rental property in St. Catharines, one of three owned by a landlord company, property management company, and an issue he brought forward so that we all could know what's going on, and I found it very informative. So if you missed the interview that we had with Brad about 20 after 12 today, to learn about how some of the nuances of the Landlord and Tenant Legislation Act work, and a thing called above guideline increases in rent. That's what it's about. It's about AGI and things that happen. Inform yourselves if you would like to watch that part of the program. Dave Leighton and Mary Leighton lost her bike, got it back. Thanks, guys, for being here. Meshanda from Jamaica, I cannot imagine what a family goes through when their son and family members so far away and lost, as Alpachino Magnat is, somewhere here in southern Ontario. Thank you for being here. Kevin, I guess we're going to say ta-ta. Who have we got to play us off the stage today?
Today we're featuring Mel Monaco with a video she did about a year ago for, I believe this is an original, Love Tides. And always enjoy sharing Mel and, of course, other Niagara artists' work right here on the end of the program.
Indeed.
If for any reason you're involved in a band and you got a semi-professional video stitched together, let us know. Drop it in the comments. We'll feature it on a future show. Thank you
for being here for Season 5, Episode 23 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. We wish another well-spent Remembrance Day to all of our veterans and to the families and friends of those people lost in the conflicts that people have participated in to maintain our freedom as we know it. Fiddler's Poorhouse and staff, thanks for letting us be here. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Waking up, look on myself, feeling too good to touch. Could you believe that this could be me? Gotta pinch myself. I know you told me to, I've used this good, no need to ask why. I know you like what you see, baby, what you see is me. You know I feel the same, love this deep, partially insane. You know I came for the goods, honey, let's not live with the shoulds. Don't keep me waiting, no hesitating, open up that gate in. I said, don't keep me waiting, no hesitating, open up that gate in. Sunshine, blue skies, good vibes, I know you feel it too. Starlight after midnight, D to the 1, 2, 3 with the sunshine. I just lose control. I said, honey, I can't see the show. I know you love it with me, a sugar crazy, hazy baby. I know you can rock with the tight love like a coaster ride. You know I dig your show, sunny disposition glow. You know I can get with that flow from head to toe. Don't keep me waiting, no hesitating. Open up that gate.